promised, we are going to do another walk and talk today. And we are going to focus on this very windy afternoon on Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan, okay? And for those that don't understand, that Tucker Carlson has some pretty big problems, right? And Piers Morgan is not the best. In fact, I would say he's actually one of the worst. This video is, in fact, for you. So let's talk about it for a second. Piers Morgan, a lot of people became more and more aware of him after he not only failed at being a CNN host replacement for Larry King, but he had that over-the-top Alex Jones interview where Alex Jones challenged him to a boxing match in which Piers Morgan was supposed to wear the Jolly Roger or whatever. Very entertaining piece, something I would encourage people to check out, okay? However, Piers Morgan is a groveling, whiny, cocky perpetrator, promoter of a predator class agenda, especially when it comes to the royal family. And I know that so many of you out there have seen the memes, and I've seen the memes and shared them, or I haven't shared them. I've seen them shared. And let me tell you how ridiculous they are. And I'm talking about these royal wedding memes, okay? The two major ones I've seen is the Facebook status where you're safe from giving a shit about the royal family since 1776. Pretty ignorant. If you're putting that up there, I just want to let you know you weren't around in 1776. You have no idea what the political atmosphere was before or after, and you still have no idea today about how much real influence the British royal family actually has. So when you think you've marked yourself safe from giving a shit about the royal family, that's great that you just let the world know that you like to wallow in ignorance. That's what that means. You're wallowing in ignorance. And then, of course, there are the millionaires in this lovely via where they did the thing and whining about all these problems of the super rich. None of you can imagine, as I talked about yesterday on the Walk and Talk, and I talked about on my Rockfin exclusive, please go check it out, the hell that it would actually be living as a royal. It sounds terrible to me. Terrible to me, okay? Absolutely 100% awful. Living in a fishbowl around a bunch of sociopathic predators. So I am glad that this interview was done, and so far I liked Meghan Markle a lot more. A whole lot more, in fact, okay? I did about the first 30 minutes of an hour and 20 plus yesterday on Rockfin, and later this evening we're going to do another 30 minutes of it. We're going to break it down shot by shot, syllable by syllable. Oh, and by the way, I have to address this before I get to Tucker Carlson. Anybody who continues to promote ridiculous memes and falsehoods about ankle bracelets, now's the time to take a real hard look in the mirror and think, okay, now I may need to get some mental help. And I'm not saying that necessarily has to come from some physician that's going to try to drug you up. I'm saying that you need more human-to-human contact during COVID 1984. You have to make an effort to maybe go on a nice little walk like this, get outside, and realize that every single part of the QAnon nonsense was fake. It was fake. There were no secret indictments. There were no ankle bracelets on Ellen and Tom Hanks and Oprah Winfrey. None of it. And that's not an ankle bracelet on her now. Okay? It's not an ankle bracelet on her now. Please call your parents. Call your brother, your sister, your cousin, your friend. Have a conversation about anything else other than politics. It'll do wonders for you. So now, let's bring it full circle to Tucker Carlson, right? So I'm watching the Tuckster, and he draws not only that same mainline establishment lie, in my opinion, that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had it all, and they should just shut their mouth because they're just so full of privilege. And look, again, we've talked about this. Meghan Markle, made it in Hollywood, one of the most predatorial, sociopathic places on the planet. And guess what? She got overwhelmed by a larger bunch of sociopaths and members of the predator class. And even in that interview yesterday, she starkly talks about how you think you know and you have no idea, and the two worlds are really nowhere near alike. Because you got to understand, those people that wear crowns and actually have real power behind the scenes, even though they're telling you that there's no power and you shouldn't worry about them since 1776, right, memers? That's a lie. That's a real big lie. And the bureaucracy behind that establishment of total control, which is what it is, has not even been dented. I just saw a squirrel ripping apart a box over there. Interesting things going down in Iowa. So when I see Tucker Carlson trying to shame them for this interview, right? And clearly he did not watch the whole interview. Clearly. 100% did not watch the whole interview. Just the sound bites everybody's talking about, the who cried at a bridesmaid's wedding dress decision, blah, 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 Johnny nonsense that obviously I couldn't care about either. But then he takes it a step further and talks about, Piers Morgan's walk-off. First of all, we all know that I'm doing these walk and talks because I've gotten a little chubby. Okay, I got a little chubby. That second chin is no bueno. We got to get rid of that. Obviously, the grays are popping more and more every day, and I'm just getting older. I'll be 42 before I know it. So, baby steps. We're going to be doing these walks, but eventually, I got to start getting back in the gym too. We're going to be walking and talking, so we don't get like Piers Morgan, where you defend a sociopathic predator class on a regular basis and smear anybody who dare go against the Queen and the royal agenda, and you look like you actually look like a pot roast at this point, like a very pale pot roast, Piers. I watched his walk off, and basically you had this other commentator saying how Piers, got cut off from Meghan Markle and he's held some kind of a vendetta and this and that, and then he stormed off looking like an actual potato. Like, he looked bad. He looked bloated. He looked sickly. He looked smug as ever, because that's what he does. But the bottom line is that if you put me and Piers Morgan in a room that he could not walk out of, and on some type of a live stream, I would eviscerate him intellectually, because he is nothing more than a parroter of the establishment narrative. And, again, Tucker does some really good things. He does. There are certain aspects of that Tucker Carlson show that I enjoy, but he also attacked me. He attacked Loose Change. He just supported Piers Morgan. In my opinion, he got the Dr. Seuss story wrong, too. I watched this piece he did about Dr. Seuss from this week that harkened back to one from several years ago, where he said that Seuss was an anti-racist, and that doesn't jive with history. Now, again, I've never said that The Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham or any of the publications as Dr. Seuss were racist or bigoted or should be canceled. I've never said that. But if you can't look at some of his previous work where he's dropping N-bombs and joking about slavery and drawing characters in blackface and doing propaganda for the military during World War II, You know, Seuss was Jewish. So, you know, obviously people want to look at him decrying the Nazis, and it's a buddy of mine, decrying the Nazis, and, you know, basically promoting the World War II effort, but he was also decrying Asians as well. All those things are very real. Again, you don't ignore history, you learn from history. You don't cancel art, okay? But you have to be truthful about the artist. These are things that are essential in an honest and functional society. Just my opinions. So guys, as we truck on, there's some other stories that we're going to be talking about. Milo Yiannopoulos looks like he's trying to garner some more media attention. And by the way, 173 watching, not even 100 thumbs up. Can we get the thumbs up, folks? Apparently Yiannopoulos has gone straight, and there's a lot of issues with this one. I don't know whether he's being genuine. I don't know if he could be genuine. There are a lot of problems with it, but he's saying basically he's being reformed by his belief in religion, Jesus Christ, Saint Joseph, I believe, is the methodology on this. But then, you know, I remember he married a guy, right? There was a big deal about that. I don't know if he's still with that guy or not, but he talked about how the guy had been demoted to being a roommate, and he's only slipped up once in the last 172 days. So I think that there's a very big possibility that this is just another way for him to get back into the spotlight, try to reinvent himself, and gain that Milo Yiannopoulos ultra troll status that he was able to achieve during that peak of Trump, and not only his run but win for presidency, right? And by the way, Milo Yiannopoulos should be able to say whatever he wants. That doesn't really mean that he's not a method actor in many respects, or a provocateur in others. By the way, just saw that Steve from Slow News Day was in the comments. Want to shout him out. Want to let everybody know he's another great reason to have a premium subscription over at rockfin.com. Just got off of a meeting prior to this with the Ray and Rockfin crew. A lot of exciting things coming up. In fact, I know a lot of you guys are talking about that Android app. Word on the street is there's going to be an Android Rockfin app in about a month's time. Don't hold me to that, but in about 1 month's time, we will finally have the Android app for Rockfin. I want to remind people, I need people to move over there. We might be getting kicked off of this platform very soon. There are no guarantees. Retroactive strikes are 100% real and happening. And we're on eggshells on this platform. There are certain things that we just can't talk about. However, I did just do a really good interview with Fake Mike, Real News, prior to this as well. So make sure you're going to check that out. And guys, like I said, you know, do your own thinking. Don't be afraid to speak out, especially during this COVID 1984 nonsense. We got a lot going on. And don't make demigods out of mainstream media journalists, whether they're Piers Morgan, Tucker Carlson, or otherwise. Hell, don't make demigods out of me. It was almost embarrassing to me having a Fake Spoon Real News on, the way he basically talked about me. I appreciate it, but I need less Jason Burmis, and I need more you guys being your own hero. Absolutely love you, and I will see you on the flip side.